Hey everyone, and welcome to another episode of Mamas Uncut's book club. Like I stated in the last two videos, right now we are reading The Overdue Life of Amy Byler by Kelly Arms. So far we've read chapters 1 through 5, and today we are covering 5 and 6. And it's been great so far. We've gotten to learn so much about the main character, Amy Byler, her family, the reason why she is the way she is, and now we're starting to see her flourish. We know that her husband has come back, and that the kids are with him currently, and because, it's been years since she's been without kids, she's taken this chance to kind of spread her wings a little bit. And now we're starting to see who Amy Byler is as not a mom. These first couple of chapters, we really learned who she is as a mom, and now we're seeing her as a person. And kind of what she was like prior to being a mom and what she's gonna be like now that her kids are getting older and they don't need her as much anymore. And I think a lot of moms can relate to that time period, or they're anticipating it. So as we know, before every chapter begins, we get a journal entry from Amy's daughter, Corey. And I don't know if I'm alone in this, but have you ever started reading something in a book, and it could be big or small, and it just kind of takes your mind somewhere else? Like, you're no longer just reading the book, you're thinking about like, oh, how does this apply to my life? Well, I got that in this journal entry that starts off chapter 5. So Corey is kind of talking to her mom through these journals, and she had began to ask these kind of big questions. Mom, were you ever happy with Dad? Mom, was Dad ever happy? Were you guys in love? Because they were so young when the marriage kind of fell apart. And then she started talking about how at least she doesn't have it worse than her best friend. And that's kind of crazy to think about because, mind you, their dad walked out on them when they were so young. But she mentioned how her best friend, her mom has been married multiple times and divorced multiple times. And it's interesting how people look at different situations, I think. And for me, I've been so lucky because my parents are still together, but it took me down this path of, wow, you never really truly think about what it's like from the kid's perspective when these divorces are happening. Divorce seems so common that it's just kind of like, oh, it's another divorce. That stinks, but it happens to so many people. But reading this particular line, and like I said, it's such a small part of the book, but you start to see how Corey has kind of digested what had happened over those years. And now in chapters 5 and 6, we're starting to see Amy loosen up, and it's really fun. And you start to see why Amy has this really cool relationship with both of her children. I mentioned in the earlier videos how Amy and Corey, especially, because we've seen more of that relationship play out so far, have a really cool relationship. They still have like the mother-daughter vibe, but they also have a really cool friend vibe where Corey still has her teen attitude, but her and Amy are very open with each other. And you start to see why, because when we start to see Amy become more of a person than just a mom, we're starting to see that fun part come out. That's not to say that she couldn't have been a really fun mom or wife, but because of what happened to her in the past, she put this like hard shell on, and she was really just business, get things done for her kids, and that's that. And now that she doesn't have to worry about that so much, like, of course we see her, texting with her kids back and forth, and her kids being like, oh my God, Mom, we're good, go have fun. Or she gets texting her ex and was like, hey, things going well, and he was like, look, we got it, etc. And we also see like a spicy side of Amy, and she starts to learn a lot of things as well with kind of what her husband has been doing since he's been gone, and kind of how she reacts to that situation, particularly because she's not shielding her kids from anything because her kids aren't around. Whether they know or not, she does not know at this moment, and she can kind of react in the way that she wants to without protecting her kids. And I think this is interesting. Now, warning, I am not a mom, so I don't know if this is commonplace for moms, but I find it interesting how skewed of a view Amy has of herself. Not so much as a mom, because I think she knows she's a good mom and she's, done the right things that she thinks she should be doing for her kids, but kind of just of herself as a person. And I don't know if that's because, like I said, we're only in chapters 5 and 6, so I don't know if we're going to be learning more, but she's very self-deprecating, and she doesn't see herself as the awesome mom, the fun person that she is, that we see as readers, which I find very interesting, and I'm wondering if that's going to change as this book continues. And then in chapter 6, we get a fun little surprise. And it's a surprise that really makes me want to continue reading this book. I mean, in and of itself, this book so far, in my opinion, has been so, so good. And I hope you guys think the same thing. But I love how Kelly kind of really, she's great at ending a chapter with something that makes you want to go, okay, I got to keep flipping these pages because I need to know what is happening. And the surprise that we get at the middle end of chapter 6 is something that I think will make me want to keep turning the pages until I'm done with the book. That's how big and juicy it is. And all I can say is I'm rooting for the ending that I'm picturing right now. Like I said, this book club is to not give any spoilers because I want you to buy the book, which you can do by clicking the link in the description. And I want you to just follow along with me, and I want you to put your own thoughts and feelings in the comments. And yeah, so let me know what you think about the little cliffhanger that we had at the end of chapter 6. And I'll be back with chapter 7, 8, and possibly 9. Bye, guys.